So, um, you know, it's funny how these people are trying to use fear of all kind. Now, I understand at one point I have fear. I understand that the theater they're prepping for me, and when I mean the theater is because I'm not subscribing to anything they do to me. I see it for the nastiness that it is, the fraudulence and the manipulations, and the illogical of everything else. Now, um, the embarrassing thing for them, and the reason why I keep saying the theater is these people, and I've said it many times, they wanted to paint themselves as something that they're not. Like I said, they're just the subcontractors in this program where they do these things to target individual subjects, human subjects, and everything they do is there's a bigger purpose, obviously, right? This is not just a bunch of this group organized, self-organized group of people. No, they are entities. Well, they are some subcontracted. They're contracted. Maybe there's a lot of layers to the contraction, meaning that they're not directly contracted, but maybe there's like a level and a lot of layers before they actually reach to the really people in charge. But they are the contracted individuals where they are supposed to implement those technology onto subjects. Those people are paid by those intelligence entity, and they do this thing to civilians, right? They do this to people that are in the program. Now, I was put in a program by my employer, and these people, these subcontractors, are supposed to make me lose my mind, right? While doing these horrible things to me, deploying this weapon onto me. They do these things. Now, what you're seeing right now is just one of the things they just mess with me. It's just so stupid. You see a profile. They like to mess with me. I go through like dating apps because I'm bored. Sometimes like now I'm bored, but because I just want to distract myself from these things, the nastiness. Right? They do these disturbing things. I just want to get away from these things, and so I go into like this dating app, Bumble. This one is the Bumble app, right? I don't know if you're familiar with dating apps, but this is one of them. And so you see this 37-year-old woman, and on the side you see like a half a face of somebody, right? And as I said many times, if there's a child, they're gonna mess with me. Now, initially you don't see the profile, you don't see anything but this half of the face. I see the half of the face, I'm like, that looks like a child, right? But I could be wrong. That's what it looks like. And I'm looking at, is that her child? It looks like a child though, right? I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure. But to me, this person looks like a kid, like early teen looking kid. I'm not sure. I'm not certain. But I know that they've messed with me if there's a child. And so I'm like, this person looks like a kid. Is that really a kid? I'm not 100% sure. You only see half of the face. Is it just somebody who looks like a kid, but it's not a kid, but that person looks like a child? I'm not 100% sure, right? And so, because I'm hesitant, because it takes me a while to really figure out that's a child, right? Not because there's anything else, because it takes me a minute. And mind you, my brain, processing has been something else. Like, perception can be played with a little bit. So it takes me a while. It's like, it looks like a child, right? But I'm not 100% sure. And I look into her information, and she says she has 2 mini-me's, 2 kids. I was like, okay, that's a child. I don't even need to see the rest. That's it. That's a child. That's all I need to confirm. Right? And they're like, oh, they are. You see, it took some time to figure out if it was a child. And so that means that, you can't recognize a child immediately. I'm like, oh my gosh. Now, what they say, right, is like how they're going to frame me. They're going to do these things to me. And this guy, tell me how I'm going to frame. They tell me right now that when I'm going to be framed, where I'm going to go is a place where there's going to be people who are going to do horrible things to me. Now, they're not saying that to warn me, right? They're saying that for the purpose of putting fear in advance, put anxiety, make me feel. And I'm like, one thing for sure, right? First of all, I know it's gonna be some pain that I will never that I've never even understood. Because they're gonna create a theater. You understand these things they do to me? They want me to subscribe to these things. This was an actual argument. It's illogical, right? But that's their job. They're supposed to make you lose your mind into this nonsensicalness. It's crazy. And now they give me stimulations and everything else. This is how nasty it is. They do everything possible to get you to accept this. But their job, their assignment is to make you lose your mind. Now, I have no doubt that it's going to be horrible. I truly accept the fact that they're going to be torturing me because of the theater. These people who are trying to present me as a pedophile were actually all along people who were contracted but entities filled with pedophiles. The culture, like they like to say, the environment they're in is pedophilia centric. They torment people in this pedophilia centric way. They manipulate people in this pedophilia centric way. They force people to experience disgusting pedophilia ways of thinking. This is the method meant to break you down. You have people all around you who are supposed to get you to accept this nastiness. This person says that to make me feel scared and identify with this nasty pedophilia things. And he even uses a menacing voice because as he tells me how horrible things are, he needs to sound accordingly to make me subscribe to these pedophilia things. And then they used even these illogical things where it took you a while, not even it took you long to just kind of figure that, not even figure to no, you were like you were a little doubtful. It's not even that. It's like you were doubtful. You thought it was a child, but you were not 100% there. It took you a second. You had to like confirm it by reading the. And that is also so you understand that's what they do. And so this man tells me about these horrible things. And I'm like, you know what? This is what I pray God to give me strength for. God, give me strength that I'm strong enough to deal with this horrible theater they're going to create. They're going to paint they want to create a theater of where they're just like doing this horrible thing to this pedophile. When in reality, these people have been forcing me to experience disgusting things so day in and day out. And in the midst of them trying to present this nastiness and implant this nastiness, these people were filled with pedos in these agencies, been doing horrible things to even babies, torturing women all around the world. The women even claiming that there's people doing that to them, a bunch of women. Some even have said that these people present themselves as this organization of goodness, meaning that these people are supposed to be like people who are trying to do good around. So every ways you look at it, you only see them for what they are. Now, what I said, what I keep saying, I like to speak that out loud. I am not the most courageous human being. But one thing is for sure, I'm asking God to give me strength, but I will not. If this man says something about you're gonna go to a place where this it's like almost this just screams, it's just monstrous things gonna happen to you, right? And he said in a way that perhaps makes him even move. And I was like, okay. One thing I'm going to do, because they want a theater, is I'm going to go to this monstrous thing when the time comes. And I'm going to run to the pain I don't want, torture I don't want, but I'd rather die this way than let these people live this way and let them live the fantasy. My death is going to be suffering, but there's at least dignity in my death. This trash works for pedophiles and wanting to delude themselves this way. I just ask God to give me strength because I'm not the bravest human being. I'm not going to stand there and pretend that I'm that. But there's honor in this death. I'd rather die slow than having to live like them. I couldn't live the way these people live. It's just humiliating and disgusting. You are trying, and to them, they understand. They find it now is a game for them, right? It's like, oh, it's so much fun. It's like, yes, I understand it's fun. You can see me break down. You can see me just being tormented and tortured. It's fun to you. I understand. I see your point of view in that way because you can see everything is gonna happen to me. You can think you're a god. You can make you believe all these things, but it's just a trash way because I'm not gonna let you live your fantasy. When you watch me as the god that you are, right? I will say Roy Moore, God. Say it. To all my target individuals, these people are the bottom feeders. They've empowered the weakest of the weak. Anybody who finds strength in doing these horrible things to people is weak. Anybody who finds joy in this is weak. Anybody who finds empowerment in this nastiness is weak. Because and these people try to make it seem like it's a competition. It's like they, and truly believe it. And they get excited about my torture because in their mind they think that me being tortured and watch me scream is going to stop the fact that this trash are involved in some nastiest thing that torture children. But they've painted this fantasy of that's why I'm saying when I see this, I'm going to run toward that because I know this dignity in my death. This trash torture children, they are low-life pedos that try to turn people into pedos. Live off of manipulations. But they know that this is what this is about. They're just trying to cope with the fact that they're in this program that is developing and continuously improving this technology. And a lot of people will continue to be tortured. A lot of people have already been tortured and are currently being tortured. I'm just one of many, many. And the reason why I'm in this program is very simple. If you see the person who put me in this program, you think it's biblical at this point. You're like, this guy look like he looks like the person who put somebody in this program. He's like the face. It's almost like, oh my gosh, come on. It's like, if anybody you can name, if I put a picture of like 100 person, and it's like, out of all these 100 people, who you think will put you in the program where they experiment on human beings? You pick that picture, that face. You pick that face immediately, like, oh, this guy look like, oh my gosh, this man look like he can, yeah. So I know who put me in this program all along. It was obvious, but it's just so much. It's so obvious. So now I'm never gonna let them live their fantasy. They want to play like, oh, we're protecting the neighborhood, we're protecting the community. The trash, you torture people, children and women, force people to think of kids in these disgusting ways, and then have this disgusting dialogues and this back and forth. That's just disgusting. Try to force men and women to feel disgusting feelings toward children. So to all my target individuals, do not subscribe. I will continuously put in front of whoever wants to look at my targeting what is happening, because one is a good way to vent. Two, it also shows to this trash that have deluded themselves to be something else, that want you to accept these nasty things that I'm not even subscribing. Listen to what you want me to subscribe to. Listen to it yourself and continue to dumb yourself down like that. This is never gonna stop. I understand that. This is how I'd rather lose my voice. Because the more I say, knowing that this trash, this weak low life, who claim to be gods, can't even say Roy Moore, right? Even though they're saying that they're gods just to agitate me, will be reimbursed properly. They don't need to be framed to be reimbursed. None of that. Death is familiar to all of us, and how these people gonna go, when they're gonna go, who they're gonna see, all of that is known and known that they're gonna have to wait for. But they've seen me die. Even they tell me I'm gonna be blinded, which they've done that to children. They suffocate children, which they say I'm gonna be suffocating. They're gonna make me deaf, like they made some women deaf. All of that, they have crippled women. Like all of these things they've done to people, to women, they're doing it today. This is what I'm gonna experience. So I'd rather die like this. These people don't know. They're like, oh, they don't know if they're gonna be blind. They don't know if they're gonna get a cancer. They cause people to have cancers, but they don't know if they're gonna have cancers. They don't know what they, like everything they try to make you subscribe to. These things gonna come back to them, and they don't know the surprise of that is just magical. But I don't care about that. I don't even care about watching them die or suffer or whatever. They ain't tell me, oh, we're gonna watch you. It's like, okay, enjoy. As long as you don't know how you're gonna die, that's simple. I'm okay. Please dedicate more time. Watch it all day. Talk to me too. Say how you're God and everything. You will see me scream, but you never see me ask, what, let me live like you. To all my target individuals, stay strong and understand that this trash, this bottom feeders, this subcontracted trash, just being empowered by these pedophiles are low lives. And thank you, God, that I didn't have to live like them, and give me strength for the theater they're going to make me experience.